Kristen Stewart recently gave the keynote speech at the Academy's Women's Luncheon, sponsored by Chanel. And I just cannot get over how you can be decked out in luxury designer brands and showing up at this elite event for the ultra wealthy of society and then talk about how angry and oppressed you are. Kristen Stewart is really stuck in the late 2010s mentally. She cannot move past that point. But in this speech, she basically was calling upon her audience of other actresses and female filmmakers to fight back against the Hollywood Boys Club, which obviously no longer exists. And it was this speech that was met with rapturous applause from all of these women, who I'm sure have net worths usually in the 7 figures. She started off by saying, in a post-Me Too moment, it seemed possible that stories made by and for women were finally getting their due, that we might be allowed or even encouraged to express ourselves in our shared experiences, all of our experiences without filter. But I can now attest to the bare-knuckle brawling that it takes every step of the way. I actually want to show this clip here where she continues this thought.
Here we go.
Now attest bare-knuckle that it takes every step of when the content is too dark, too taboo, when the frankness with which it serves up observations about experiences routinely experienced by women frequently provoke disgust and rejection. But they are true, and I don't...
None of that matters if it doesn't make any money.
feel disgusting.
You can make all those movies you want. You just have to fund it yourself. And then you can be as unflinching in the face of your period blood stories as you want. But if somebody else is making the movie and funding the movie, then it matters.
I wonder if in a room like this, full of women who venture and dare to make things with their own 2 hands and their bodies and their voices, which takes lifelong work and effort to...
That is why Nicole Kidman should be praised, because she puts her money where her mouth is. Women.
...discover, let alone trust in, amidst this infiltrating, misogynist cacophony of what is expected of you. Every woman has a right to use their true voice, not the one that's been curated for them by someone else.
Only if you're funding it yourself.
The first responsibility of a liberated woman is to lead the fullest, freest, and most imaginative life that she can.
Liberate the money from your bank account and pay for the movies yourself.
The second responsibility is her solidarity with other women.
Come together with your bank accounts together and fund the movies, and then you can make them.
Just by being here, we are thriving. I want to make sure that we self-possess that celebration.
I don't even know what that means.
Self-possess the celebration.
I want to point out that here's the crazy thing. On its face, I actually agree with her. I think one of the criticisms that many people have had of Girl Boss in Hollywood is that you were making men's stories with women characters, and it fell flat on its face because nobody wanted to see stories that were traditionally for male heroes with shoehorned women who didn't act like women but instead act like men. I saw this recently. There was this article from last year about women receiving gender parity with men in big screen leading roles in 2024. I want to draw your attention to the movies they listed and what they have in common, which is Wicked, Inside Out 2, The Substance, Moana 2, Mean Girls, and It Ends With Us. Yes, all of those movies were financial successes, technically even Mean Girls. Most of these are for women. The Substance is a horror movie, gender neutral in a lot of ways. A lot of people love horror movies. Inside Out, millennial parent movie that they'll bring their kids to, but stories that resonate with a female-minded audience. That's a good thing. That's fine. But they made inroads with large audiences of people, not just women. It took a lot of people, both men and women, to go make Inside Out to $1 billion. To make Wicked whatever amount of money that made. It was a lot of money that Wicked 2 made. Mean Girls made a little bit of money. The Substance made 4 times its budget. You can do this. The thing is, though, if you're going to make stories about like avant-garde female boxers that nobody's ever heard of, you cannot expect there to be a strong audience to show up for it unless you bring something unique to the table.
Yeah, that movie you mentioned was it was like a lesbian boxing movie starring Kristen Stewart and I forget the other one. It
sounds like a parody.
Love Lies Bleeding.
It sounds like a parody.
Now that you mention it, I want to find out who financed Love Lies Bleeding and if Kristen Stewart was in the list of people who put their money up.
It's also funny because they mentioned in that article that I read, they mentioned Mean Girls, and Mean Girls was a Paramount movie, but now Paramount, they're terrified. I did a video today that's going to come out tomorrow about Ellison derangement syndrome as he takes over Paramount Skydance, which they're now calling MAGA coded, and they're going to tell MAGA coded stories, whatever the that means.
All right, so Kristen Stewart did not produce Love Lies Bleeding.
Gotta finance it yourself.
Let me find out what the budget of Love Lies Bleeding was. It was made on a budget of $10 million.
Okay, how much did it make?
Let's find out what the box office return was on that. Made a total of $12 million worldwide.
So it lost a bunch of money.
Yes.
For those of you who may be new here, movie theaters take 50% of the money when it goes to the theaters, which means that they kept $6 million, maybe $6 million of that. If any of that is overseas, they keep even less of that money. All I want, this is why I don't criticize the likes of Nicole Kidman in these places. Certain people are putting their money where their mouth is. Be up Sydney Sweeney. Produce the movies that you want. Anyone But You was on that list. Made for women. Gonna do fantastic with women. Blake Lively for all, or not, what's it called? Not Anyone But You.
It Ends With Us.
It Ends With Us.
Yeah.
For all of Blake Lively's faults, puts her money where her mouth is, and her husband fund those movies. And then they can say whatever empowering thing they want at the rubber chicken dinners because they've put their money where their mouth is. It will never be as valid when somebody who has no skin in the game comments on how we need to do more. Well, do it yourself.
Not to mention, they were also mad that men were going to see Love Lies Bleeding because they were like, oh, lesbian boxers? That sounds hot.
Foxy boxing.
They were
Let's
like
go.
mad that the wrong people wanted to see it. And not to mention as well, the reason Kristen Stewart got invited to give this keynote speech is because she just made her directorial debut. Her new movie called The Chronology of Water is coming out next month.
It just sounds.
It even like, sounds like
it's like when they did it's like The Color Purple or what was that one from? Like it just sounds pretentious.
The synopsis here says, a scholarship swimmer reconciles her turbulent upbringing and resurfacing trauma by finding solace in the art of literature.
Like
you can't make this shit up.
You pitch that to the movie producer, and he's like, let me check to see what's going to subsidize that. Do we have a Marvel movie coming out this year at Disney? Like that.
Okay, let's find out who's producing on that. Is Kristen Stewart producing?
If she is, that's a good thing.
Okay, she's one of like 10 people who were listed as producers.
Perfect. But it's not a gendered issue. You have to be, what's that saying? Be the change you want to see in the world. Be the financial benefactor you want to be in the world.
Great stuff. And then I don't want to just stop there because her speech gets even more interesting from there. She said, I am in a severe state of PMS today, but I relish being able to say that my nerves are close to the surface of my skin, and it is a great day for that. We can discuss wage gaps and taxes on tampons and measure inequality in lots of quantifiable ways. But the violence of silencing, it's like we're not even supposed to be angry. But I can eat this podium with a fork and effing knife, I'm so angry. The backsliding from a brief moment of progress is statistically devastating. It is devastating. Such a pitiful number of films from the past year have been made by women. We obviously need many more women's luncheons in our lives. We need to become ladies who lunch all the effing time.
Do you know who the highest paid actress is on television? It's Mariska Hargitay,
Oh, I thought you were going to say in
the
general.
lady from Law and Order SVU, because they've got they've been doing it for they've been doing it since the first Bush administration. That TV show has been on forever, right? Maybe it was a little bit after that. The point being, it makes them money. It makes them a crap ton of money.
She continued, there are too few of us. We're all here together now, and it seems like there's a lot, but there's not. It's not our fault. Sure, our business is in a state of emergency, and the last thing that I want to do here is lose the celebration under a pile of pissed off rubble. We are allowed to be proud of ourselves and maybe to allow each other to reclaim the gratitude we've all become talented at performing and really taste it from the inside out. I have no idea what any of that means. I am thankful to you. I am not grateful to a boys club business model that pretends to want to hang out with us while siphoning our resources and belittling our true perspectives. Let's try and not be tokenized. Let's start printing our own currency.
Yeah, do that. Make your own movies. Gather the Billionaire Girls Club and make a ton of movies. Start Period Blood Studios and start making movies that are about
Diva Cup Studios.
And start making movies about female Olympic swimmers who go through traumatic instances and have to find themselves again in the arts. Do it. And when you lose countless millions upon millions of dollars, come back and ask somebody, probably a dude, what movies will sell. Or go and find the directors and the writers that are women that are doing well. I made a post a while back. It's really funny. Catherine Bigelow. Long before the gender wars were going on, we had Catherine Bigelow, director of Zero Dark 30, Hurt Locker, and of course the masterpiece that is Point Break, the original Point Break, beat her own ex-husband at the Oscars in 2010 for Best Picture.
I thought you were going to say that she beat her husband.
No. But she's, and her husband had the utmost respect for her. She's a legend in Hollywood, and nobody would ever have needed to care that she was a woman because it was prior to Me Too. It was prior to all of that stuff. It didn't matter because she was good at her job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that statement about the luncheons was beyond parody. We need more women's luncheons. Yeah. Do you actually think women's luncheons do anything for women?
And look, the guys in Hollywood aren't doing themselves any favor either because they don't seem to be writing the best movies these days anyways. Everybody's suffering. Your jobs are all getting taken by robots in the next 10 years. Your animators have been hired on to put themselves out of work by making animations that are allowed to be trained on AI by the companies that they're working for. Go out and start your own production companies and do those things. And the thing is, on the television side of things, a lot of actresses have their, Shonda Rhimes is the biggest thing in television, has been for a long time. Maybe not like she was in the early 2010s. But Shonda Rhimes is a huge advocate for women's equality and for the power of women in cinema. And you can't criticize her because she puts her money where her mouth is. Sometimes it hits, like Scandal. Sometimes it doesn't hit. But the point is, she puts her money where her mouth is. I'm sick of them acting like their interests need to be subsidized because of some type of oppression when you guys can subsidize it yourself.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.